Hey guys, J-Man here. Okay, so I thought I'd do something a little bit different. I know I do the weekly X-Men talk, which basically covers whatever's brand new for that week. And that comes out, that video is out every Wednesday or Thursday. Wednesdays I am in the office, so it's a little harder for me to get my books. I have to kind of wait till my day job is done to go to the shops and get the books. Even the ones that I get digital, I just don't have time to read them until after work. So sometimes Thursdays is going to be the day. It's either Wednesday or Thursday. I'll post it when I can. But I thought let's do something else because, as you may know, if you're watching those, I'm not like thrilled with X-Men right now. It used to be something really exciting, and I wanted to do something a little bit different and talk about some old stuff. Now, I have talked about New Mutants comics, the original run, Volume 1, in the past. So you can find those videos in my X-Men playlist. Just scroll down. I've got different icons or different thumbnails for them. This will also be a new thumbnail. I'm just going to call it X Talk. So X Talk is going to be just going through some older stuff. So I've got a New Mutants section, and then everything else will be under X Talk, and then I've also got a Wolverine section as well. All that's in the X-Men playlist, okay? So I thought let's start off with X Factor number 1. So I have X Factor number 1. I just have it in a slipcase. It's not in a top loader. It's, you know, it's not worth that much. But, you know, I want to keep it a little bit safe. So we're not going to look at it through here. We're going to look at it on digital, of course. So we can look at it through digital. And, I mean, X Factor, you know, basically the Peter David stuff, soon as you, I forgot what issue that is, but I've got that issue as well. And it was like Havoc and Polaris and those things. That's sort of where X Factor really became something, I guess, a little bit more different, because originally it's just the 5 original X-Men who are now X Factor, except for Charles Xavier. So he's not there. But I like all mutants characters. I think they're kind of cool. Cyclops is my favorite Marvel character. So yeah, obviously if he's in X Factor and he's the leader, I'm going to have to read that, right? Now, I never got into X Factor too much until the Archangel stuff. I've got the first appearance of Archangel. I really like Archangel. He's one of the first ever. Those little PVCs, and there's a Vision one over here, somewhere back here. Remember those little PVC figures you'd get? Well, the first I ever bought at the first comic shop I ever went to, the first toys I ever bought at a comic shop, was a Archangel, Wolverine, and Nightcrawler. And I actually have them, and they're kind of like stuck behind over there. So I've shown them in other videos as well. But so yeah, I love Archangel. Yeah, okay. Let's get into X Factor. So there you go. I like these costumes for X Factor a lot. I think the white Cyclops with the blue and white is my favorite. I've got the figure of that, the Marvel Legends. My tattoo of Cyclops is not that, only because white doesn't come out good on tattoos. I might be able to maybe I'll get Cyclops in that costume as like a smaller one to match like my other guys here. Might look a little bit better. I'd have to ask the artist if they can do a white properly. But anyway, so we start off here with Madeline Pryor and Psyche, and he's like digging a ditch with his Force Blast, which is cool. And they're just living out their lives and stuff, and they're watching the news, and it's getting really bad for mutants, and Cyclops is wondering, you know, should I have made the right decision? Should I go back? We see Warren, he's flying around, he's having renovations done. Beast is here with him, they're just hanging out. Iceman's there too, making just a ruckus and whatever. And it's great here with the workers. The workers are here, and they're kind of like, oh, I don't know about working for this mutant and whatever. And they're kind of being a little dickish. And something happens, the girder falls, and of course they're rescued by the mutants. So I like stuff like that. I like where they're proven wrong through heroism, and not proven wrong through the mutants beating up the people who are the naysayers. I don't like that at all. That's happened in some of these newer X-Men comics, where you had some of these really nasty humans who are saying, oh, you know, screw the mutants and stuff. And no one likes those people. But I think there's a better way to deal with them than to threaten them or beat them up. And I think saving them in this way kind of was cool, and it made them think, wow, these mutants are pretty cool. Not all of them are bad. Some of them are bad, right? Obviously. This is written by Bob Layton and pencils by Jackson Geiss. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm not 100% sure. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I haven't read this in 400 years. Okay, so anyways, I reread it, of course, for today. So they saved the guys falling. That's kind of neat. Now this is a bit of like a fatter issue. It's a thicker one. So, you know, because obviously it's a number one, so I want to get into this. So here we go, and they're talking about what they want to do, and Warren's girlfriend is there, and they're just like, you know, we need to kind of get back into things. We go back to Fire Fist here. I think this is Fire Fist, and he has just like a massive, like out of control burst of his mutant power. Basically, this woman almost gets, she gets like she's getting torched. This girl that he's with, random girl, and now everyone's like, okay, we got to nail this guy, right? So the military's after him. These guys are after him. Reed Richards steps in and says, hey, you know, we got to do something. So they basically call Cyclops and like, okay, we got to figure something out. But snag, Jean Grey is alive. Now, this is where we all thought that she had been dead after the whole Phoenix business, right? Now, Madeline looks like Jean, right? Whole thing with that happens later on, but for now, that's what you need to know. And Jean is like, I'm back. And, you know, and she then goes on to explain what happened and saying that, you know what, it was never me. When the Phoenix rose, which is that issue over there, when the Phoenix rose, that wasn't me. That was the Phoenix Force doing like a copy of me. Now, this is a typical Marvel trope where it's like, oh, it wasn't this person or they didn't die or whatever. And I mean, it is what it is. We're used to it now as Marvel fans or DC fans, really, or comic book fans. I personally don't like that. I don't like the idea that it wasn't Jean Grey, that it was just some entity that was the Phoenix Force entity. I don't like that because I feel that it kind of undermines what the whole Dark Phoenix saga was about. So I don't like that actually. But look, it is what it is. I'm not telling you every classic thing that ever happened is awesome. I'm just saying on the whole, I enjoy the older books more than now. But yeah, I don't personally like that idea, but you know, it is what it is. That might get retconned again. I don't know. My memory is not great on a lot of this stuff. Plus, I didn't read all the X-Men things as they were coming out. I didn't really get into it until way later in life, and I tried to go back and find issues, and it was really hard at that time, even then, and now it's virtually impossible, which is why digital is the way to go for stuff like this. So, I really like this concept here of what happens. So when Jean comes back and they're like, yeah, you're back, and you know, this is great, and that's like, Scott told her that, you know, he's with someone else now. So he hasn't said anything. There's a lot of words here, a lot of text. So this fellow comes in, and I just completely blanked on his name, and I know the character. Darn it, I forgot his name. Cameron Hodge, that's it. So he comes in and he's like, okay, we're gonna do X Factor, and what it is that when there's a mutant sighting or something, they call us, and we're gonna pretend to come in and TCB, take care of business, right? It's like Ghostbusters. It's like Mutant Busters. We're here, right? So that's the idea of X Factor. Kind of interesting, right? But they're going to show up in these suits and be like, yeah, we're here to take down the mutants and capture them and, you know, do what we got to do. But secretly, they're really there to help the mutants and to rescue them and to find a home for them, to help them control their powers and stuff like that. And now to weed out all the crazy people who are just going to call the line and say anything, they're charging like 40 grand or something for this service. So they're only getting the true people now, which is great because Cyclops does something awesome after. But yeah, so of course, you know, he's in flame, running around everywhere, destroying shit. Here comes the X Factor, and they're going to help him. They're like, no, we're here to help you. And he doesn't believe them, of course, because everyone's after him. Of course, they take him out because it's X Factor, right? And they're able to bring him back safely. So then Cyclops comes back over here to the guys that called him. And now the guy that called him was actually treating Rusty pretty bad. He was hurting him and stuff, and he was being a total douche. So he doesn't want to let on, right? So then basically, I love this. $42,000 I'm going to zoom in on this guy's face. 42,000. It's like in Ghostbusters when they're counting on their fingers how much they should charge him, and he's like, you know, $5,000. He's like, oh my god, I'm not paying that. It's like, all right, well, we'll just put it right back. So they literally say that here. It's like, okay, we'll just put the mutant right back, and he can go on destroying shit. So I love the idea that Cyclops, and then he's kind of like, wow, we're sticking it to these mutant haters, you know, and we're helping the mutants. So that's pretty much the end here of X Factor number 1. Madeline is very upset, of course, because Scott is not around, and their relationship is in trouble. So that's X Factor number one. I do enjoy it. I don't like the Jean Grey explaining that she was really not that. So that's one of the negatives. I do think the X Factor idea is interesting and it keeps it separate from the regular superhero stuff, also from regular X-Men books. So yeah, X Factor, pretty interesting. I'm getting into it again, right? So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you want me to cover more of these kinds of classic books? I'm gonna call it X Talk. So let me know if you enjoy this kind of stuff. If you do, give me a like. If you're not already subscribed, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you on the channel. We do live streams all the time, and we invite people on sometimes as well from the chat. So that's a cool thing to take part in. But yeah, X Factor, interesting comic. I really like the all new X Factor, which was that one where Polaris was the leader. That was a later iteration of X Factor. Peter David came back and did it with Quicksilver and the Serval Industries thing. But I do like this concept, so let's see how well it plays out. Hopefully issue 2 is going to be just as good, if not better, because we're going to be over that Jean Grey thing that I didn't like. But all right, guys, that is it. Until next time.